God is the light of the heavens and the earth. Light upon light, God guides to his light whom he wills. Quran 24:35. Cordoba in 1198. Ibn Arabi sits in night meditation. His chamber floods with radiance. He records, "I became light, looking at light through light." Damascus, 12th century. Shihab al-Din Suhrawardi directs his disciples to face a polished mirror in a darkened room. A single candle is lit. The reflection multiplies the illumination exponentially. This, he explains, is how the polished heart reflects divine tajalli. Istanbul in 1643. In a halveti teke, dervishes sit in concentric circles, performing silent zikr. Colored lights emanate from the sheikh's heart, first green, then white, finally a pure, colorless luminosity that dissolves all distinctions. When the light of unveiling, kashf, dawns, the darkness of normal cognition is extinguished. The knower becomes the known through the light of recognition, marifa. Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, Mishkat al-Anwar. The Sufi science of illumination stands as a sophisticated technology for generating, perceiving, and ultimately becoming divine light. The heart is a mirror. When polished through zikr, it reflects the divine light. Bayazid Bastami, 9th century. The primary instrument in Sufi light technology is the heart, or qalb, not the physical organ, but the subtle center described as the isthmus between the human and divine realms. The heart has 70,000 veils. Each veil removed allows more divine light to reflect. Each sin darkens the mirror. Each act of remembrance polishes it. Dulnun al-Misri, Kitab al-Tajalliyat. The technology begins with specific practices for polishing this heart mirror. Maintain continuous fast for 3 days. On the 4th day, enter khalwa, seclusion. Position yourself facing the qibla after night prayer. Arrange the body so the spine forms a straight column between earth and heaven. Place the right hand over the heart and gently press. With eyes closed, repeat Allah with each exhalation, directing the sound into the heart center until warmth begins to generate. This polishing involves systematic refinement of the attention. First, empty the heart of all thoughts through rapid zikr that leaves no space for distractions. When the breath becomes refined, transition to silent remembrance that creates heat in the center of the chest. As this heat intensifies, it transmutes into light, first perceived as a point the size of a star, gradually expanding. Najmuddin Kubra, Fawai al-Jamal. The technique includes precise modifications based on individual constitution. For the person of fiery temperament, begin with the divine name, Ya Latif, O Subtle One, to cool excess heat. For the person of watery nature, start with Ya Nur, O Light, to generate necessary warmth. The balance point must be precisely calibrated for light to manifest. Ibn Arabi, Meccan Revelations. When the heart mirror is sufficiently polished, the practitioner experiences 5 symptoms: increased body temperature, pulsating sensation in the chest center, heightened auditory sensitivity, spontaneous suspension of breath, and the perception of colored lights behind closed eyelids. Hakim al-Tirmidhi, 9th century Sufi master. Know that colored lights are veils. Each has its meaning, but none is the final destination. Abu Sa'id Abil Khair, 11th century. Sufi masters developed detailed classification systems for light phenomena encountered during practice. The initial lights appear in 7 distinct colors, each corresponding to a specific spiritual station. Black light indicates the dissolution of ego identity. Blue light marks the beginning of divine attraction. Red light signifies the station of spiritual fervor. White light indicates purity of intention. Green light marks the station of the soul at peace. Yellow light indicates certainty of knowledge. Colorless light marks the final unveiling. Najm al-Din Kubra, Fawai al-Jamal. These classifications include precise differentiation of light qualities. Divine light, Nur, differs from created light, Diya. Created light reveals objects, but remains separate from them. Divine light reveals by permeating what it illuminates, leaving no separation between seer and seen. Shihab al-Din Surawardi. The taxonomy extends to the light's behavior. Observe carefully how the light moves. If it pulsates, it indicates the influence of the nafs, ego. If it radiates steadily from a fixed point, it marks the beginning of stabilized presence. If it appears to breathe, expanding and contracting rhythmically, it signals harmonization with divine attributes. Ruzbihan Bakli, The Unveiling of Secrets. These classifications served as diagnostic tools. When red light appears mixed with darkness, it indicates the need to purify intention. When white light appears but flickers unstably, continue with the practice of muraqaba until stabilization occurs. When green light encompasses the entire field of inner vision, transition to the contemplation of divine names. Abdullah Ansari of Herat. Instruction to disciples. To distinguish true illumination from imagination, observe 3 qualities. Authentic light persists when you open your eyes. It cannot be generated or dismissed at will, and it produces measurable effects on the physical body, particularly increased heat in the chest. Ibn Arabi, The Journey to the Lord of Power. There are as many paths to God as there are souls, but the science of illumination follows precise principles. Abd al-Karim al-Jili. Sufi orders developed specialized technologies for cultivating inner light. For the manifestation of light, 3 elements must be precisely calibrated: the form of remembrance, zikr, the posture of the body, and the focusing of attention, tawajjuh. Error in anyone prevents the activation of the light-generating mechanism within the subtle body. Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Sir al-Asrar. The Kubrawiya order developed a complete system called zikr of the tongue, followed by zikr of the heart, followed by zikr of the secret. Begin with audible repetition of La ilaha illa Allah until the tongue moves without effort. When warmth spreads through the chest, transition to silent repetition, focused in the heart center. When light begins to appear, cease deliberate repetition and allow the name to repeat itself within you. Ismail al-Jurjani, Kubrawiya Technique. The Naqshbandi order, specialized in silent visualization techniques. Visualize your spiritual guide, Murshid, seated before you. See light emanating from his heart toward yours. As this connection stabilizes, see the entire silsila, spiritual lineage, extending behind him as a chain of light, reaching to the Prophet and ultimately to the divine presence. The Shadili order developed techniques combining breath, movement, and light. Inhale light through the crown of the head, filling the entire body. Hold briefly at full inhalation, allowing the light to permeate every cell. Exhale darkness through the soles of the feet. With each cycle, the ratio of light to darkness increases until only light remains. Ibn Ata Allah al-Iskandari, Basic Shadili Practice. The Chishti order utilized sound and light together. During Sama, spiritual concert, focus attention on the heart while listening. When the music resonates with the heart's frequency, inner light begins to pulse in rhythm with the sound. This synchronization creates the condition for tajalli, divine manifestation. Nizamuddin Awliya, Instruction to Disciples. The physician of hearts must prescribe the appropriate medicine for each seeker according to their natural disposition and spiritual illness. What benefits one may harm another. Abul Hassan al-Shadili. The journey through light has precise stations, each with distinct characteristics. Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, Futu al-Ghaib. Sufi light technology mapped a systematic progression through stages of illumination. The first station is the light of faith, Nur al-Iman, initially perceived as a flickering flame in darkness, indicating the awakening of certainty within doubt. Al-Kushairi, Risala. The second station is the light of knowledge, Nur al-Ilm, appearing as steady illumination that reveals the inner meanings of religious practices, previously performed as empty forms. Hujwiri, Kashf al-Mahjub. The third station is the light of Gnosis, Nur al-Marifa, manifesting as expanding radiance that begins to dissolve the boundaries between subject and object, knower and known. Ibn Arabi, Meccan Revelations. The fourth station is the light of realization, Nur al-Tahqiq, appearing as penetrating light that reveals the divine presence within all forms while maintaining their distinctions. Abd al-Karim al-Jili, Universal Man. Fifth station is the light of extinction, Nur al-Fana, experienced as overwhelming brightness that temporarily erases individual consciousness. Ahmad Sirhindi. The sixth station is the light of subsistence, Nur al-Baqa, characterized by stable luminosity that allows individual consciousness to function within divine consciousness. Ruzbihan Bakli, The Unveiling of Secrets. The seventh station is the colorless light, Nur Bila Kaifiya, beyond all qualities, the pure light of essence that cannot be described but only experienced. Ibn Arabi, The Journey to the Lord of Power. Each station required specific techniques. For each maqam station, there is an appropriate method. Applying advanced techniques prematurely leads to spiritual intoxication. Applying basic techniques to the advanced practitioner causes regression. The physician of hearts must prescribe the precise method for each stage. Abdullah Ansari of Herat, Stations of the Travelers. These stations were mapped onto the subtle anatomy. The light of faith appears in the breast, Sadr. The light of knowledge appears in the heart, Qalb. The light of gnosis appears in the inner heart, Fuad. The light of realization appears in the secret, Sir. The light of extinction appears in the hidden, khafi. The light of subsistence appears in the most hidden, akfa. Ahmad Sirhindi, Maktubat. The science of illumination, ilm al-ishraq, operates through precise principles of spiritual realities. The heart perceives divine light according to its degree of polishing and receptivity. Ibn Arabi, The Meccan Revelations. Sufi masters described specific mechanisms by which light transforms consciousness. Light functions as the subtlest substance capable of bridging material and immaterial dimensions. When generated through zikr, it creates a medium through which divine attributes can transfer into human awareness. The dynamics of this process follow consistent principles. As metal in fire gradually takes on the properties of fire, heat, light, transformative power, while maintaining its metallic nature, so does the heart, immersed in divine light, gradually manifest divine attributes, while maintaining human form. Al-Ghazali, Mishkat al-Anwar. The transformation occurs through precise stages. First, light illuminates the heart, revealing its contents. Then, it purifies the heart by burning away attachments. Next, it refines the heart by reorganizing its structure. Finally, it transforms the heart into a generator of the same light that transformed it, making it a source rather than merely a receptor. Abu Sa'id Abil Khair, 11th century. This mechanism operates on subtle substances within the body. The physical body contains latif, subtle matter, that, when subjected to the heat of zikr, transforms into a luminous substance. This transformation begins at the heart center and gradually extends to all cells, creating the body of light, al-jism al-hakiki, within the physical form, al-jili, universal man. The process follows alchemical principles. As coal under pressure becomes diamond, transforming from light-absorbing to light-refracting substance, so does the densest aspect of the self, the nafs, transform through spiritual pressure into the translucent soul that both receives and transmits divine light. Rumi, Mathnawi. The mechanism includes specific physiological components. The subtle vapor, bukhar, produced during zikr rises from the heart to the brain, where it is refined into the luminous substance that allows spiritual perception. This explains why light is often first perceived behind the eyes or at the center of the forehead. Ibn Arabi, Divine Governance. Continuous exposure to inner light gradually transforms the instruments of perception themselves, creating new sensory capacity, or zahuk, that functions even in ordinary consciousness. Abu Madian, 12th century Andalusian Sufi. The science of illumination is not pursued for its own sake, but for its practical applications in spiritual development. Al-Ghazali, The Niche of Lights. Sufi light technologies serve specific practical functions. For healing physical ailments, direct the green light of the heart to the affected area, maintaining focus until warmth spreads through the region. This technique proves especially effective for diseases caused by emotional or spiritual imbalance. Ibn Sina, or Avicenna, medical application of Sufi practice. To resolve difficult questions, activate the yellow light through zikr of Yanur, O light, while holding the question in mind. When the light stabilizes, release the question into the illuminated field. The answer often appears as intuitive knowledge or symbolic image. Ibn Ata al-Iskandari, cognitive application. For protection during travel through dangerous regions, practice visualization of the white light sphere, extending one arm's length around the body. Maintain awareness of this protective field while moving through the external world. Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, protective application. To perceive the true nature of a situation or person, cultivate the blue light of discernment through combined zikr of Ya Basir, O All-Seeing. When encountering the situation or person, allow this light to function as a perceptual filter that reveals hidden qualities. These applications extend to group practices. When multiple practitioners generate light simultaneously in a circle formation, their combined field creates conditions for accelerated transformation. This explains the greater efficacy of congregational over individual practice. Abdul Khalik Gujdawani, Naqshbandi Group Methodology. For transmitting spiritual states between teacher and student, both synchronize breath while the teacher directs light from heart to heart. This creates a temporary energetic bridge, allowing direct transfer of marifa, experiential knowledge. Bahauddin Naqshband, pedagogical application. The technology applies to transitional states. At the moment of death, the practiced attention to inner light provides orientation during the transition. The dying person focuses on the central light column, following it through the various colored realms that appear, ultimately merging with the colorless light. Ibn Arabi. During sleep, maintain awareness of the heart light, while consciousness transitions to the dream state. This practice enables lucid dreaming and makes sleep a continuation of spiritual practice rather than an interruption. Najmuddin Kubra. The ultimate purpose of illumination is not the extraordinary experience, but the transformation of ordinary perception. Ibn Ata Allah al-Iskandari, Hikam. The final phase of Sufi light technology involves integrating luminous perception with daily life. After establishing the inner light through formal practice, maintain awareness of it while engaging in mundane activities. Walk as if carrying a lamp in your heart that must not be extinguished by external winds. Abul Hassan al-Shadili. This integration follows specific stages. First, practice light perception in complete seclusion. Then, in the company of other practitioners. Next, among ordinary people in controlled environments. Finally, in the marketplace, amidst the greatest distractions. When the light remains stable in all conditions, integration is complete. Junaid of Baghdad. The integrated state creates a dual perception. The accomplished practitioner perceives simultaneously on two levels: the conventional forms of the world and their luminous reality. This double vision constitutes complete realization, seeing creation not as a veil over truth, but as the very manifestation of divine light in endless forms. Ibn Arabi, Fusus al-Hikam. Integration affects interpersonal relations. When speaking with others, perceive the light in their heart, addressing the light in yours. This transforms ordinary conversation into spiritual communion, regardless of the apparent topic. Abu Sa'id ibn Abil Khair. When teaching, transmit not merely information but illumination. This occurs naturally when your own perception remains light-based while speaking, allowing words to carry the energy of their source. Bahuddin Naqshband. The integrated state generates specific signs. The one who is fully integrated light perception exhibits three qualities. They see potential before manifestation, they recognize essence beneath form, and their presence automatically evokes remembrance in others. Sal al-Tustari, 9th century. The eyes of those in whom the science of illumination has matured exhibit a particular luminosity, not merely reflecting external light, but emanating light from within, visible to sensitive observers. Ibn Arabi, The Journey to the Lord of Power. The final integration transcends method itself. Begin with the practices of light as something you perform. Progress to becoming the embodiment of these practices, where every breath, movement, and thought naturally generates illumination. Culminate in the realization that you are not the generator of light, but light itself taking human form. The supreme station is to recognize that the light you sought through years of practice was neither created nor achieved, but merely unveiled, your original nature, present from the beginning, temporarily forgotten, now remembered. Ibn Arabi. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The example of his light is like a niche within which is a lamp. The lamp is within glass, the glass as if it were a pearly white star lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, neither of the east nor of the west, whose oil would almost glow even if untouched by fire. Light upon light. Allah guides to his light whom he wills, and Allah presents examples for the people, and Allah is knowing of all things. Quran 24:35.